Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to From the Depths. My name is Hobie, and I suck at this game, but it's a lot of fun. I really like it, and I'm getting better. In all seriousness, I have about 20 hours logged in this game, and I'm still learning. This game takes so much time to completely master. So, we're gonna learn it together. We're gonna have a super awesome, fun experience. We're gonna fight some of these things that you see flying around in the background right now. Actually, probably, yeah, there we go. We're gonna fight some of these things. I'm gonna blow that guy up. I haven't even met those guys yet. That guy, actually, he looks a lot like the things that I tend to build. See how it's breaking apart? It's exactly what I mean. Anyways, we're gonna start a new campaign. I forget how to rename it. That's okay. We'll do that later. Anyways, begin new campaign. So, for those of you that have not played or experienced or really seen anything about this game before, I'm going to walk you through it a little bit. I'll give you a quick primer. Not too much that you have to, like, you know, worry about, like, taking notes or anything. I'm not that in-depth, but I will sort of be explaining exactly what I'm doing as we go along. So, to start with, this is a fortress. This is one of 3 different structures that you can build in this game. You can build vehicles, you can build fortresses, and then you can build, like, structures like actual buildings. The fortress is different from an actual structure because it's flying. They do that for some reason. Those little thrusters down there are the only thing keeping this thing aloft. So that means one of a couple things. A, I need a lot of power to keep this thing in the air. B, it does not move very fast. And C, it does not have to stick to the rules that, well, physics pretty much lay down for us in this game. Now, basically, anyone can tell you that the starting setup for this base is kind of garbage, but I'm going to go through it really quick just to kind of show you exactly what's going on. So here we have our engine room. I did not set this up. This is the one that... Oh, shoot. This is the one that the game starts with. From my understanding, this is a terribly inefficient engine. I've been advised by just about everybody and anybody to get rid of this thing instantly and then just reuse the pieces to make something that doesn't suck, which I'm probably going to do. If you actually look at the lower right-hand corner of the screen, that little lightning bolt symbol tells us that out of 266 power that we're manufacturing with this gigantic engine, 59 is all that's left. The rest is being used to hold this thing aloft, and a couple other things as well. Now here we have our oil resource gathering zone. This game has one of, I think, a few resources. So you've got, like, natural, which is just kind of, I guess that's like wood and glass and things like that. You've got metal, which, as you can see, I'm generating really slowly. You can see that on the bottom of the screen. You've got oil, which these help us generate. These give us, like, raw oil, and then to actually use that, I have to have one of these guys, a fuel pump or fuel something, I forget what it's called, but that puts that into a usable format and stores it in these barrels here. I'll explain more about that in the future. I've also got resource gatherers, which give me basically the rest of the resources. I think they give me metal and natural. And the way that they work is they shoot little laser beams down into the water, they collect all the scrap, they do something, and then I get it. And that's really all you need to know about the mechanics of how they work. Now, ideally, you'll see at the top there, it says the zone has like 900 some odd natural, 500 some odd metal, and then 500 something scrap and 0 crystal. That tells me exactly what this is gathering. Now, it's important to note that in the design of the game, it's meant that you get diminishing returns when you start adding more of these. As you get more of these, you gather the resource faster, but their efficiency goes down, because each resource regenerates in each zone. That's what this this big floating circle that you see here, it denotes this as a resource zone. Each resource is being regenerated at a very specific rate. So if I get more of these gatherers faster than it's being regenerated, then I'm not really getting my worth out of them. But it seems at the moment it's kind of pointless, because the resource refresh rate ramps up to meet the needs of the number of gatherers you have. So if you're playing this in the current version of the game, abuse the crap out of that. You can get some serious resources. Next up, we have our ammo storage room, which is woefully undefended, and probably a little bit sparse as well. I don't think, like, 900 ammo is going to cut it. Now, ammo needs to be protected very, very well, because one stray shot can set this off, and it'll explode and carve basically the entire back half of my fortress off. And that's not good for anybody. And we also have a Heartstone. This is basically what heals me. Now, there are some story missions where you have to have a Heartstone and then, like, extensions all over the place. It kind of keeps you alive, like, if you get too far away from it. Because, as you can see, I am a little robot dude. If I get too far away from it, I die. I run out of power, basically. So, that's what that's for. It heals me if I take damage, things like that. Back here, we have our spawn beacon. If I die, I don't instantly respawn. I fall from a capsule out of space and then come back here, which is pretty cool. Back here, we have sort of like a dock section, which is useful for several things. I have a tractor beam here, which allows me to grab and hold vehicles at a certain distance, which isn't great for combat because they're still shooting at you, but it's great for while you're trying to build something and you don't want it driving around while you're trying to build it. This respawns vehicles and scraps other vehicles, which is very useful. If you have a vehicle that dies and you want to respawn it from a blueprint, you can do that here. This is kind of works the same way. I can use that to spawn vehicles from blueprints, and then it'll use all these weird-looking repair tentacles. That's actually what those are. Those aren't just some weird things that I just made up. Those will kind of like beam it together, I guess. Now, the first thing that we want to do is, if you'll notice, I have 15 crystal resource, and I'm not currently gathering any more. So I'm going to... No, it doesn't require power. No, never mind. I'm going to build a crystal resource, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. Crystal growth farm. There we go. Now, it comes in two components. You have to have the farm, and then you have to have the actual trays themselves. The farm you put on the bottom. Turn that around. There we go. Actually, I may make two of these guys. Yeah. Yeah! Crystals are important for the late game. They let you get a lot of, like, AI components and lasers and stuff. Lots of really cool things. And then on top of those, we want to build growth trays. Now, the amount of crystals that we generate is proportional to the amount of growth trays that we have on each of these spawners, the farms. So you'll look down at my crystal in the lower... Oh, yeah, see, it just went up by 1. It's going to go up very, very slowly, but it will go up. And crystal is not a resource that I use a whole lot of at the moment, so that should be adequate just for getting some basic stuff started up. Now, as far as this engine goes, I can do much, much better than that. But as you'll see, I'm very low on metal at the moment, so I'm going to have to salvage this guy. As well, we've got some... Oh, these are out. I thought those were just metal. Ugh. Okay. Gosh, this is a terrible starting fortress. So, basically, there's kind of a big deal. So there's two kinds of metal in this game. Metal is really good for deflecting enemy shots. It's really good for being, like, sturdy and kind of heavy, and, you know, it's good at being metal. And that's really all you need to know about it. But there's two kinds. So if I go into my basic blocks here, you'll see I have metal blocks and lightweight alloy blocks. Now you can see the resources required to build each of these in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. So for the metal block, it costs me 5 natural and 30 metal, right? That's not so bad. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but it has a lot of health. Now if I go over to the light alloy block, it is much, much lighter, but it costs me 10 natural, 60 scrap, or 60 metal. That is like twice as expensive. Now it only... oh my gosh, my mouth. What is happening with me? It only weighs a fraction of what the actual metal block weighs. So that's really good if you were trying to build aircraft or something, but it's horrendously expensive, especially in the early game, where gathering metal is really tough. So we're going to go ahead and just delete all this stuff. Actually, I'm going to set down a mirror line, too, so I don't have to do this twice. Yeah, get out of here. And then I can just click the middle mouse button, and that'll just let me kind of perma-delete some of this stuff. And you'll see kind of like a small explosion over there. That's just because I destroyed the blocks that were attaching it to the fortress. If anything becomes completely detached, I guess, from the rest of the fortress, then it falls into the ocean. So you'll see I got a huge boost in metal there. That's something that we want to utilize almost immediately, as well as moving around some of this other stuff. What am I going to do about this? This turret is basically useless. I'll explain more about turrets here in a little bit, and then I think that radar dish is kind of pointless at the moment, too. The higher up they are and the bigger they are, the more field of view they give you. And that's important for this. This is the campaign map. It is daunting to look at, to say the least. So this little sphere of influence here, I guess, is only being revealed to me because of that radar. Otherwise, my my influence would be about as big as this blue circle right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but that blue circle is pretty much like our visual range for any of the ships and fortresses that I have in this fleet. Right now, I only have one fleet. And I might let you guys decide what to name it as well. Right now, it's just Starting Fortress and Home Sweet Home. That's just not cool. Oh, I also have a Boat Sweet Boat, which is a terrible boat. It's actually, well, I don't know. A lot of people kind of crap on it, just because it's small and it's dinky. But this thing is fast. If you need to get around, this is definitely the way to do it. And I have a really hard time building boats that are like this fast and this efficient. So just to kind of show you what I mean here. Oh, they moved around the controls. Why do we have... What? Whoa, okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's just, yeah. They gave kind of like WASD controls, but that's not normal. So this thing is actually really quick. Most of the boats that you'll build in the beginning of the game kind of top out at like 3 meters per second, 5 meters per second. I guess that is meters per second. 3 meters per second, 5 meters per second. Sometimes you can get them at like 7. It's just like a basic boat, you know, kind of boring layman stuff. Get out of here. Okay, I made it. All right. So, you know, it's good for just getting around, but we may actually go ahead and scrap it, just because we can do better, and because I can use the resources at the moment. So, you know, I'm going to grab that with the tractor beam and then scrap it, maybe. I think. That's what I'm going to do. If I can remember the controls for this game, jeez. Starting rib. Scrap. Wow, that was fast. And then I'm going to destroy it permanently. Okay, so we got all the resources from that. Now, typically, I could just sort of tear it apart, and that would work fine. But I gotta admit, that's kind of fun to do. So what we're going to do as far as ammo storage goes, I'm not sure why we have giant wooden beams in the middle here. What we're going to do as far as our fortress goes is we're going to make some room for a better engine. I'm going to get rid of some of these. I don't know why those were there. That's not really protecting us all that much. There's a giant hole in the roof leading straight into the ammo. That's not a good idea either. Let's knock this out of the way. Could probably get rid of some of these fuel things and some of these scrap crates. Okay, let's get rid of that guy. And I'll knock these guys out. Whoops, I just dug through the floor. I didn't mean to do that. Gosh darn it. Still mastering some of the controls here. Okay. Well, why did it take me over here? So, I guess the next thing that we need to do is maybe extend this wall back a little bit. I think that'd probably be a good idea. I could use another little extra layer of protection here, I guess. And I'm told that using these 4-meter planks is one of the more efficient ways of going about this. I'll fix that in a second. Mainly because, I guess as I understand it, they're easier for like your processor to kind of handle. And I know they can take a little bit more punishment, and that's sort of evened out by the fact... Oh, we've got an ugly little gap there. That's okay. We just won't look at it from that side. That's sort of evened out by the fact that, I guess... Will I have enough room? Oh, no, I'm kind of... Not enough on one side. Alright, I'll bump this out a little bit. Oh, this fortress is going to look delightful! Oh, my OCD hurts already. They're more efficient, they're bigger targets, they have a little bit more health, they use up more resources, but it's easier for your computer to handle. Instead of, like, hundreds of tiny little blocks, it's just a few big ones. I mean, not a few, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You guys are smart. You can figure it out. You're going to have to do a lot of that, by the way. That whole figuring out what I'm trying to tell you thing. I'm bad at words. Oh, there's a hole in the floor. Oh, my OCD! It's okay. It's alright. We'll bite the bullet. We'll use some small guys. I'm not worried. Just a few of them isn't gonna make or break the bank. Next, we need to work on an engine. Now, engines are tricksy. There's a lot of ways that you can maximize these things, really give them tons of power. I don't know any of those. Honestly, I've got a design that has worked pretty well for me in the past. It's really simple, really easy to repeat, really easy to remember, and I think I'm just going to kind of follow that formula here. We'll refund our resources here in a second, but the engine has several components that make it work. Probably the most notable being the cylinder. Actually, I'm going to set down a mirror line here, too, just so I don't have to repeat this on either side. You have the cylinder, you have carburetors, and those are really some, like, the two things that you really need to make the engine work. And then from there on, it's just, like, maximizing your efficiency with the exhaust, engine zone, fuel tanks, and superchargers. Now, you can also get extender blocks that make it so the cylinders can be placed in other places. Typically, they have to be placed on a crankshaft, which, you know, obviously makes some problems. Like if I do this here, right? Actually, let me go ahead and just get one more of those. We'll have a pretty powerful engine to begin with. I think that's probably the way to go. So, you know, this is about as maximized on where I could put these things if I really wanted to. Of course, I've got gaps in the middle that I could fill in with cylinders, but I need carburetors to go there as well and sort of, like, fill in some of the gaps. Now, a lot of people say that you can make it more efficient by adding these connectors and, like, placing it in here. And if I put one here, I could place another cylinder on top. That's not something I've really experimented around with. It's probably not something I'm going to do on camera. I mean, unless you guys really want to see that. If you want to see, like, super efficient engine designs, then maybe that's something that I'll tackle at some point. But for now, I'm just going to stick with what I know, and that's carburetors have to go next to cylinders. Carburetors are kind of like your connector blocks for all the other blocks that I'm about to show you. Carburetors function best when they're right next to cylinders as such. Once you've got one next to each cylinder, you can see we're really not generating any power at the moment. That might also be because we don't have any fuel. That was stupid of me to delete those. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put some down just so we don't drop out of the sky unexpectedly. It'll give us a warning before we start to fall, but it's... Where is it? Where's the fuel tank? Fuel storage tank. That's what I was looking for. Okay. There we go. See? Boom. Magic. Look at us go. We're hemorrhaging fuel at the moment, but we've already started making more power. Now, I'll show you how to make these things more efficient. As it stands, this engine kind of sucks. What am I looking for? Engines. There we go. Yeah, as it stands, this engine kind of sucks. So typically, my next step is to put engine zone fuel tanks. Now, these have to be placed next to carburetors. That's the only spot that they can sit. But they increase your fuel efficiency. As you can see, we've started using a lot less fuel already. This kind of acts as, like, the gas tank for your engine, I guess. The more of these you have, the more engine efficiency you get. So I'll put some of these here, some of those there. Next, we're going to add some superchargers. These basically further boost the efficiency of your engine. This makes it so it's kicking out more power. Now, of course, I could get more... Actually, I may do that. I may add some more carburetors down here, because I've still got some space. Place those next to... Oh, no, I'm out of metal! Oh, am I? What am I short on? Oh, I'm short on natural. Oh, or scrap. I'm sorry. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Usually I've got a ton of that stuff. All right, let's... Oh, I don't want a perma-build. I want a perma-delete. That's not what I wanted at all. How do I... Yeah, there we go. Wow, that was weird. Let's go ahead and scrap some of this stuff. If I get the bottom layer, then the rest should just fall. And I won't have to worry. There we go. Okay. So, that boosted my scrap quite a bit. I've still got enough... Actually, I've got a ton of engine power at the moment. I'm not worried at all. Let's get that carburetor down. Oops. And that... Okay, that built that on the other side as well. I can add some more fuel tanks to maximize my fuel efficiency. Or I could get some more superchargers. I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of debate on like what is actually the most efficient way of doing things in this game. I don't know. I looked it up once, but it didn't seem like there was a really good resource for me to use, I guess. These superchargers can be connected on the bottom right. Forwards and backwards. Yeah, below. Okay. It didn't seem like there was a really good resource to kind of figure it out, I suppose. There was a lot of people talking about it, but I didn't know like the version number of the game or anything. Probably add another... Actually, yeah, I'm going to add one more cylinder. We'll see how much that improves our power output. So right now, we're at 2,953... Or, I'm sorry, 3,164. Okay, this gave us an extra 100. That is way more power than we will ever really need at the moment. So I think next step... Whoops. I'm going to move these. And then we'll kind of play with the layout of the base a little bit. So it always seemed a little weird to me that they have the resource gathering rooms separated into like two different things. I always thought that was a little bit dumb. So we're just going to put it all together. Now, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe there's someone out there that's a lot smarter than I am. Whoops, I just put that backwards. It was facing the right way. And then we are going to max the crap out of these guys. And when I say max the crap out, I mean max the crap out. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like to see. Sweet, sweet metals! Come to me, my children! I can do this easier. I'm using the, I forget what it's called. Keyboard-based controls, I think. There's, like, mouse-based, which is your typical Minecraft fare, which anyone that's ever played Minecraft will know exactly what those are like. And then there's keyboard-based, which is a little bit different, and I do like it. I like it a lot more, but it's something that I'm still adjusting to. Okay, so now we're gathering resources at a pretty decent rate. And we've done away with the engine. We've got a lot of empty space here that I'll probably retrofit most of this just because this floor is horrendously inefficient. I'll probably change some of that up. We need to tackle this monstrosity. I don't know what's going on here. A lot of people will use this as a platform to start building turrets and such. And that's not a terrible idea, but it's not one that I've ever really liked, just for the sole reason that enemy AI will sometimes try to target your weapon controllers. So if I have a cannon sitting right on top of my ammo stores, they're going to aim for that cannon. There we go. Let's get all that sweet metal back. Yeah, that's what I like to see. They'll target the cannon. And that's not good, because that cannon is sitting on top of everything explosive. And if I run out of all that ammo, then my other cannons, if I have others set up on this base, will not fire. That's not good for anybody. First and foremost, we need some defenses. I'm not entirely sure where to build them. Usually... Yeah, let me go ahead and play around with the floor a little bit here, because this is not going to fly. It's bothering me. Let's start by deleting all of this. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Let's go ahead and rebuild that while I'm thinking about it. I'll delete these guys. Basically, what I'm trying to do is get this whole thing to drop. Did I delete that? Yeah, okay. Why are you still being held up? Oh, it's because of this up here. Boop. Okay, that's done. Now I need to get rid of some of these in the middle. I don't know why this glass is here either. Get out of here! Be gone! These thrusters are pretty important for keeping us up in the air. Yeah, I may... I'll rebuild them here in a second. I'm not worried. Actually, you know what? I'll do that now while I'm thinking about it, just so we don't have to put up with this in a panic. Oh, I wonder. Will it detach the rest of the base, or is it counting that as the middle? Ooh, good question. Good questions. Important questions for answering. Let's place a few of these bad boys down here. I'm not sure exactly how many we need. Oh, I still have that mirror line down. Whoops, that's not what I needed. There we go. Yeah, just slap those suckers down there. It doesn't even matter. Hope none of you have, like, OCD or anything. Because you are going to hate me by the end of this. Let's get rid of that fortress controller. I'll place it... I'm not entirely sure how this all works, so I may place that... Yeah, there we go. Let's place it back here. Can I not put that down? Oh, it's because I had the middle mouse clicked. Okay, so what's holding you up? Aha. There we go. Okay. I was worried that was, like, the actual part of the fortress that it was counting. Also, we need some fuel tanks. Just the few that we have is not gonna... Well, no. Okay, we're pretty stable at the moment. We'll focus on building. Okay, so I got rid of all those tiny blocks. That's good. That's a good thing. Now, we rebuild. Make it better than it was before. As a matter of fact, we'll place down a mirror line so I don't have to do this a million times. And we'll come out here. Actually, I may get rid of that last one. Whoops. And then meet in the middle. And we'll use a fantastic... Use the am I on the right level here? Yes. Okay, never mind. Oh, there we go. Okay. Fill command. That's what I was trying to... Oh, I did it off-center. Ah, dang it. Gosh darn it. Hobie! Hobie! Alright, let's get rid of this crap. Yeah, that's just not gonna fly. I told you, I'm not a pro at this game. Oh, man. Alright, let's, there we go. And then... Now that's all lined up, pretty looking. We'll fill it in. And the little floating remains of our base are kind of freaking out and spazzing out down there. Okay, we've got a floor. That's good. That's step one. Step one accomplished. Let's get that filled in. Do that. Maybe we'll make this like a window or something. I don't know. We'll have some fun with it. That's just awful looking. Oh, boy. Alright, you know what? We'll come back to that later. I may do some of that off-camera, just cleaning it up a little bit. As far as defenses goes, most of the time, it's probably going to be safe to assume that we'll be attacked from the front. Let's see, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? Does that fit? Yes, okay. It's probably safe to assume that we'll be attacked from the front. Whoops. So, logically speaking, it's probably a good idea to have our front armored the most. I'll probably... I think it'd probably be safe... Oh, man. That is not okay with me. It's probably going to be safe... I've got 2 on each side. The asymmetry is going to kill me. No, this is good. This is good for me. I can take it. I can take it! Alright, it's probably best to have the front armored up a little bit. I think it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and use some metals. Kind of retrofit everything a little bit. So we'll go ahead and do that now. I'll come back with some basic metal blocks here in just a second. And fill in the gap. I don't mind having a bit of a thing there. We'll put like a super cool window in here or something. Make it look all aesthetically pleasing. I'll play around with it later. But for now, I need to make this decently defensible. Because we will get attacked. And right now we are flying blind. As you can see on the map, my vision is, well, it's garbage. So we wouldn't... I can't even see this at the moment. This is the only thing I can see. This is actually fog of war. This is just undiscovered terrain. So... Oh, we're hurting. Metal supplies. We're doing pretty good on metal at the moment. Actually, we're got a pretty decent income. This is gonna kill me. Let's go ahead and fill in some of these gaps. Whoops. That's okay, I didn't need that there. I wasn't even using it anyways. Okay. You know what, never mind. There. There! Okay. I'll build up a little bit more in a metal beam. A little bit more in the way. Metal. We'll get ourselves, like, a decent platform here. It'll only be 3 high, but that's okay. I'm not looking for any, like, vaulted ceilings or anything. Build some of these guys. Okay, we have a pretty basic start of a platform for a gun. Now, turrets. One of the most fun parts of this game. I think after I build this one, I'll go ahead and finish this up. So we're going to go down to New Object, and I'm going to grab a turret block. Now, there's different kinds, and each one is kind of suited to particular roles, more so than some others. So you can grab a normal 360-degree turret. Those are really nice. That's what I did have up on top before I destroyed it. Those will let you spin in any direction. Now, you have to be careful with those because they do have physics. They can collide with things. So they can kind of get themselves turned around and like wrapped up in some really odd angles if you're not careful. You need to give them plenty of room to move around, and definitely make sure you have a failsafe attached to those because they'll shoot anything that's in front of them, including your own stuff. And then there's 360 azimuth-only turrets. That allows that to turn on a level plane. It cannot turn up and down. And normally, you might say, well, oh, that's stupid. What if they come in with, like, aircraft or something? But you can actually get elevation barrels that'll let your guns track up and down independent of the turret. And I'll show you that here in just a second. Then you've got 360-degree turret torqueless. Those are really good for space vehicles. Yes, there is space combat in this game. If you get to that point, you can actually go out into outer space and build super cool things and blow each other up. That's where you would want that, because spinning the turret will not spin your ship in the opposite direction. And then there's 360-degree turret precision turrets. Those are my favorite. They have 0 wobble, which means I can put one down. There we go. And I don't have to worry about this space down here. Now, normally with most turrets, if I built anything down here on the bottom side of the turret, it would drag. It would scrape against the bottom of this, it would cause horrible noises and damage everything, and it would basically be horrible. But these are so precise, the degree of control is so good that I can actually build on this plane and it will not scrape. You can see how there's just a tiny little gap right there. It will not scrape. So that's good. Now, for any of you that are playing this game... What? I can't... Oh, never mind. For any of you that are playing this game and are building turrets and having troubles with it, I'm going to show you something that will save you, like, 1 billion hours of heartache. Alright? That's it. That's it right there. Build your weapon controller on top of the actual turret. I can't tell you how many times I had to tear these things apart to learn that one the hard way. Now, the way that these weapons controller works is I don't actually have an AI in the base yet, so I can't show you how they track and everything. But this will connect to the AI mainframe that I'll have installed somewhere on the base. Okay, I'll put a wireless receiver on here, and then probably a failsafe too, just so I don't shoot my own place. But these have to be within 2 blocks of the actual turret to control it. Now, these can be anywhere in relation to the actual firing pieces of the turret, which I'll show you more of in just a second. But they have to be within 2 blocks of this actual turret to control the turret as a whole. That's very important. That's why sometimes your cannons might fire, but your turret won't turn to track the enemies. That will get you killed. It will destroy your fortress because you were not prepared. So, let it be known. This is the way to do it. Okay? Next, we're going to build a custom cannon. Now, this has lots of different parts to it. Tons of different barrels, too. All of which have their own uses, I guess. So, to start with, we're going to build some 6-way connectors. Now, I want this to be a double-barreled cannon. Whoops, I'll go ahead and set down a mirror line just so I can do this in half the time. I want this to be a double-barreled cannon, which there are several ways of doing that. There are some ways that are more effective than others. I don't know any of those. I just do it the way that I learned it. Whoops. That I learned it, and it seems to work for me. I find that... Let's see. want to put that... that's pretty tall as it is. Okay, so these 6-way connectors are kind of what holds everything together. Now, if I want this to be 2 barrels, they can't actually be connected in the middle by anything. They have to be independent, otherwise all of the things that'll put on the turret will only go to 1 barrel, which is why once you starting adding like a bunch of gauge increases and like different types of ammo, 1 barrel might be bigger than the other. That's the issue, is those two are connected together. So we need to add a firing piece. Now the firing piece is the actual part of the cannon that really makes everything work. Oops, I need 6-way connector. Yeah, I think it'd probably be safe to put it back there. Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. Firing piece is what makes the cannon work. This is like the actual mechanism of the cannon. This is what makes it go boom. All right. This has to be connected to these 6-way connectors somehow. Now, it can only be connected in certain parts. The top, and I think maybe the bottom as well, and then the sides too. But it has to be sitting on top of something. It can't just be free-floating in space. You can turn it upside down to kind of get around that. It kind of messes me up, though, but... yeah, so it has to be connected to these 6-way connectors. If it's not, like if I delete this one right here... oh, okay, never mind. It's still connected somehow. Never mind. All right, whatever. If it's not connected, it'll show you when you mouse over the connectors, and it'll say not connected, basically. That's really important. Now, I like to leave the barrels for last, just to kind of make sure that everything is working, and just to make sure that I have like enough space. So we're going to move on to auto loaders next. This is sort of, well, I guess ammo boxes is how you get the ammo into the gun. Now, it's steadily receiving ammo from your stockpiles of ammo in the base at a fixed rate, okay? And it can fire if I just slap some ammo boxes on there, but I find it's most efficient to use auto loaders. Now, auto loaders kind of augment things in a few really interesting ways. So, without connecting, well, here, I guess I'll slap some on there. I'll put down like a basic barrel or something just to show you. Oops, turn that around. There we go. Without actually like connecting everything together, if I run over here, this is a terrible looking turret at the moment. If I run over here, I can fire the cannon. Okay, not terribly impressive. And that's about as fast as I can fire. It's still reloading. Still reloading. Still reloading. I'm pretty sure if I was manually picking up the ammo and dumping it into the barrels, like actual cannon style, it would be faster than that. So, to get around that, you use auto loaders. Auto loaders let me take these ammo boxes, and I'll actually get rid of these, and I can place them on one of 3 ports on this autoloader. You see how it has these 3 different slits on it, all these autoloaders that I've placed all over it. If I put ammo next to those, it will take the ammo and it will feed it into the gun. Now this turret is not like... whoops. Oh shoot, I forgot my mirror line again. This turret is not like the pinnacle of efficiency. There are definitely way better ways that I could be doing this. I may kind of focus more on that in the future. For now, this is just to be cheap and effective and kind of get it ready for the first wave of attack. I may actually add some extra ammo types on here too. And again, we can build down here just because this is a precision turret. So these auto loaders will change it from what it was. Now, if... whoops, I built myself inside the turret. That's embarrassing. Has that ever happened to you? Now I can take the turret and... now it's a machine gun! Which is awesome! Okay, that's because those autoloaders are all connected together and the ammo boxes are connected to those. Now, you can do some really interesting things with those. That makes the gunfire really fast. Now, I can add something called a gauge increase. This does not have to be connected to an autoloader. This can go anywhere on these 6-way connectors. Whoops. Put down my mirror line again before I forget. I'll put one there, one there, one there. As you can see, my barrels just got a lot bigger. Don't believe me? I'll show you. Boop. See how it gets a little bit bigger each time I add one on there? That's because these gauge increases mean we're increasing the size of the barrel. Now, I'll show you what that does. It now does not fire as fast. It's actually pretty quick, but it doesn't fire as fast. The trade-off is that if I mouse over the firing piece here, it now does 447 kinetic damage as opposed to... Oops, where'd it go? 251. So we almost doubled the amount of kinetic damage that we were doing. That's like the basic damage that each round does when it hits something. So gauge increases are a good thing. That's something to keep in mind. Let me actually go ahead and get rid of these barrels. I'll place down my mirror line again, and we'll start experimenting with some of these barrel types just to get things working. I love elevation barrels. I tend to use these precision turrets a lot. Now, some people might not like them as much as I do, but these elevation barrels allow you to take a precision turret and make it so that it can track, like, actually pretty far sometimes. So just those precision barrels that I added a elevation of 56 onto this barrel. As you can see, oops, if I can... I didn't make the barrels long enough so you can't really see it. They can now aim to a significant degree up and down. Relatively speaking, that's not bad. I could actually shoot at aircraft with this thing. So that's pretty important to remember. Elevation barrels, very useful. Now, to make it even more effective, give it a much longer range, we'll give it some motor-driven barrels. Those flatten out the arc of the trajectory. Whoops. Always forgetting that mirror line. Hobie, what are you doing? Those will flatten out the arc of the trajectory when the cannon fires. To give you an example, I'll go ahead and add a predictor. This shows me the firing line for the cannon. So I can add that there. And it'll show me exactly where it'll shoot. Very useful. It's like a laser sight. But if I take those barrels off... Come on. You can see the arc is a lot shallower. It's not as straight as it was. And that's A, because I shortened the length of the barrel, and B, because I got rid of those, what are they called? Motor-driven barrels. Now, it's also important to note that a lot of these do different things. There's not one barrel that's, like, better than others. It's actually a good idea to get kind of a mix of each. Recoil suppression we don't have to worry about because we're building it on a fortress, but if this was on a boat that was actively fighting against the physics every time the gun fired, that would cause a lot of problems. I've actually had boats flip over because the cannons were too powerful, so that's something to keep in mind as recoil suppression barrels. Unfortunately, those don't do much for, what was it? Your inaccuracy modifiers. Every time you add a barrel, it basically... Yeah, see, the flash suppression makes it even more inaccurate, which is horrible. Motor-driven barrels give you like a 0.9 accuracy modifier. Elevation barrels, 0.9. I think basic barrels are like 0.8, so recoil suppression is not too bad. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind, is you need to build your cannon for the role that you want it to have. For example, let's see, what did that do to my elevation? Oh, wow, it actually gave me more elevation. Okay, whatever. I'm cool with that. For example, I'm going to add some normal barrels onto the end of this one. I could make this look a lot cooler later if I wanted to. That's a pretty beefy cannon at the moment. It looks kind of stupid. We can armor it up, make it a little bit tougher later if we really need to. But for now, I can fire clean over that mountain with a pretty fair degree of accuracy. That is good enough for me. This thing is ready to shoot down some incoming aircraft if it has to. Now, they won't be sending aircraft at us if we're lucky right off the bat. They can do that, but they probably won't. We'll probably face a small fleet of some pretty nasty-looking boats to start with. So yeah, I think I'm going to end that episode here. It probably went a little bit longer than I actually intended it to, so... Sorry? I promise the videos in the future won't be as long as this one. So yeah, I really hope you're enjoying this series. I know not a whole lot has happened just yet. We'll focus on building maybe a ship, maybe some more defenses. We'll kind of expand our horizons a little bit in the next episode, preparing for that first attack. And trust me, it is not something you'll want to miss. I love the physics-based destruction in this game. It's like Minecraft and Terraria, but applied. Meaning, you know, you're not getting better loot just so that you can fight tougher enemies and get better loot. You're getting better loot so that you can blow pieces off of the enemy vessels that are actively trying to kill you. It's awesome! You get to blow huge chunks out of them. If you ever built anything out of Legos and then instantly destroyed it when you were a kid, this is the game for you. So, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you'll join me next time. Have a great day.